Oh, please let me talk about the PS5 Pro.
That's what exactly. That's
PS5 Pro.
Okay.
Let me just set the groundwork here.
Okay.
So I'm not a modern console gamer. Solely retro games and PC. Anything modern I play is on PC. You're the same way. Okay. You're the console gamer here.
Before I start,
I own the PS5, but I just never play it. So.
Before I start absolutely ripping apart this abomination of a console, I'm looking at the camera.
Try to do it without cussing.
I'm not going to curse.
That's going to be your biggest challenge. I'm going to challenge you. Say 0 cuss words while explaining the PS5 Pro.
I'll start.
Challenge impossible.
Okay, I'm going to start over. Before I start absolutely ripping apart this abomination of a console, I will say, if I had a bunch of money, I'd have it.
Yeah, he's like, so I hate it, but
yes.
Sony, I will buy it.
So, a lot of the Xbox Series X, PS5, all of them, they advertise 4K 60. Truly, on Series X and PS5, it's called checkerboard resolution, which means it's upscaled to 4K. Because even with these brand new consoles, there's no way for them to handle native 4K and 60. PS5 Pro can do it. That's what it's built on. It's not checkerboard. It is real 4K. It's real 60. The problem is...
Well, hold on. Quick question, though. So were launch title PS5 games or PS4 games that run on PS5, did any of them do native 4K 60?
I don't think so.
Okay, so from the rip, it did, because isn't there like a performance mode and then
I always use performance
fidelity mode?
Yes,
I don't know
fidelity
what it's
is still checkerboarded.
Okay,
yes.
Really?
Okay, so neither of them run native 4K. Some games have to run native 4K.
Way.
Some games have to run native 4K.
I think if they're
4K
like
30,
like games like Rebirth, no, it's still checkerboarded.
Can you tell the difference?
He's gonna say that he can.
You can. I don't think you can tell the difference enough for it to not be worth playing performance. Because, and I test when I go into photo mode and take photos for games, I always switch it to fidelity because you really see that difference in textures in the minor stuff. But when you're moving around, especially in a game like Rebirth, it's not gonna change anything. The PS5 Pro, as they were developing it, they had a bunch of games that they knew they wanted to run at native 60. So there's like a PS5
native
Pro.
4K.
Yeah,
with 60,
there's the PS5 base can get games to 120 hertz, but at the cost of more resolution. And not many games do it. And even then, you're gonna have frame drops because that thing is not built for that. The PS5 Pro, it's got like a list of games. Like almost all the launch titles for PS5, Ratchet and Clank is PS5 Pro enhanced. I think Baldur's Gate, a lot of them are.
Let me ask a question real quick. Is checkerboarding, is that basically just frame generation?
I don't think it's frame. I think it's like AI upscaling.
I'm not sure about. No, I'm pretty sure it's just like. I don't think it's AI upscaling. It's just upscaling.
Yeah,
like,
upscaling.
It'll run at a resolution that's very like I guess non-traditional like as far as rendering. Okay, so when you play games on PC, there's like some setting. It's usually called like render resolution or something like that. That usually starts at like 1 and you can turn it down. What that's doing is you're outputting 4K. But it's actually rendering everything at a slightly lower resolution and then upscaling it to 4K. So it's not natively running it. It's not natively running it at 4K.
Okay.
That starts to get into the weeds where it doesn't really matter to me. Here's my biggest thing with the PS5 Pro. What is the price?
$700.
$799 or is it $700? $699 or $799?
I think it's $699.
Confirm that real quick.
Yep.
I still think it's too much.
I thought it was $799. I
don't think it's $800. I think it's $700. If it is $800, that's even worse. But you
remember the PS3 when it came out was $700 or $600 or $700.
Yes, it was $600. I think.
When it dropped, it was like it was either $600 or
$699 MSRP.
Okay,
but isn't there two versions? Isn't there one that's a disc? Or just
no. And the reason there is no disc drive, you have to buy the disc drive
separately. It's like a USB.
And the thing is, apparently they did that so it could be $699. Because if they had a disc drive built into everything, it was going to have to cost more.
Here's my thing with it. As a non-console gamer,
$80.
Well, I'll be ready to rip into it.
The disc thing, I think, is BS. I think that's ridiculous. I don't see any reason why it should, which can go into one of our later topics about like physical media. Mm-hmm. I personally just don't like removing the disc drive because I feel like it just leads the industry more and more towards completely getting rid of physical media. I prefer it as an option. I think you should have the option of physical media versus digital media. I think there's a lot of arguments for each one, but I don't think there should be something that completely tries to get rid of physical media.
I agree.
So, but other than that, I don't see it succeeding that well over the regular PS5 because of the price point. I foresee them dropping the prices eventually whenever it flops. However, I don't know why people are super mad about it, because like I look at it from like the PC equivalent of like, okay, say I want this higher level of performance, I'm going to spend an extra $200 or $300 on a better graphics card than what I'm looking at right now, you know? So it's like, you don't have to buy the PS5 Pro if you don't care, but I mean, if there are people that do care, I guess what we should be looking at, which it hasn't came out yet, has it?
It's out. They have them at GameStop.
Oh, so the PS5 Pro is out right now.
They were $650 for Black Friday, I think.
That's not even.
That's how you know. Yeah, that's how you know that. But still, the fact that they're even dropping it on release on Black Friday shows. Because I mean, Nintendo does not drop their price on the Switch ever.
No,
for like Black Friday,
still,
it's always $300 for the regular. So that's how you know it's kind of flopping.
Lite
but
is so bad
I guess it depends on like how much more of a performance boost it is. But I mean, so
it has native ray tracing in it too, whereas the base PS5 can't handle that stuff.
I don't know. I just see it as something that's available for people that do care about that.
Yeah. I think it's just a huge mismanagement of resources to roll it out the way they did, when so few people are going to be willing to spend that much.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. I don't foresee it selling that well, but I also am not like mad at it. You know, like the PS3 releasing back in the day at like $600 or $700, which is crazy for 2007 to even think about.
It's ridiculous.
Yes.
There is something to be mad about because that was your only option.
Yeah.
You know? So I feel like that's why. I mean, it's not feeling like it flopped because of that. Because they thought that their success, their domination of the industry with the PS2.
It was $500.
It was $500.
Which
is still crazy.
Okay.
That's how much.
PS3.
I could have swore it was $600.
That's how much a brand new PS5
was for the
is.
60 gig. 20 gigs was $500.
Okay, so there still was a 600 one. I mean, 20 gigs
for
is
60
crazy.
gig.
Yeah, see,
we get a
that's what I'm
terabyte
saying.
base model now. What the heck was going on back then?
Either way, though, I mean, that was a ridiculous price when the Xbox 360
it was.
baseline launched at either 200 or 250. I mean, I'm pretty sure like the Xbox 360 arcade was 250.
I think it was
It was half the price, like literally half the price.
Yeah, that's why it won that generation.
That's why I feel like people deserve to get mad over that.
400.
Because that was just, it did not launch at 400.
Sorry, 3 to 400. 300, I think there was.
So 300, yeah. So it would have been 300.
The
$200 less.
400.
Yeah, the highest end. They'll leave.
Where did our lives go where everything has a premium edition?
I think that's why the 360 generation was so strong, though.
That's why
for the
I
first
think that too.
You know that generation, the PS3 actually ended up outselling the Xbox 360.
That's insane to me.
Which is crazy to me.
Because everybody I knew in that, whenever I was playing games
had a
back then,
360.
it was 360.
Yeah.
I had a 360.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had both. So we started on the 360. It red ringed. Then we got the PS3.
I never had that issue.
And I didn't even know that we got the yellow light of death on the PS3 like a year or two in. I didn't even know that existed. Yeah, I mean, you heard about the red ring, but like so the PS3, then we went back to Xbox 360. And then I think by the end of it, we got a PS3 like super slim or something because like they were just like dirt cheap.
Yeah.
And there's just a lot of exclusives, so it was like kind of worth having. But I don't know. Yeah, I don't really see like while there's a huge uproar. So what is your uproar about it? Because I know you love fidelity, you love all that stuff.
I think it's mismanagement of resources. Because I don't even want to think about how many of their engineers and people went into this. When we
You're saying they could be focusing on better stuff.
We know the 6 is coming out in 27, 28. Because all those leaked
we don't know that.
Those leaked documents basically confirmed it. And the next Xbox will too.
No.
So hold on. Let me ask you this though, because I feel like for every other time period of like console releases, you could much better estimate release dates because one competitor would have to follow the other. So like if Xbox was releasing like their next line around like this year,
well, that's how we found out about that. Was
However,
the Microsoft
are we
leaks.
even so we're having another Xbox?
Yeah.
They're making another one?
They said they are.
That's
and
insane.
What's his name
I
said
can't
they were making
believe
another one.
that they're...
Dude,
what else would they do?
This gen Xbox has performed.
What do you mean? It's Microsoft.
They are really pulling out.
No,
of
they
video
run the
games.
world. Microsoft runs the world, dog.
I mean, and plus they said like, besides Elder Scrolls, I don't think they're going to be putting out exclusives anymore. Really.
I don't think Xbox has ever made Microsoft money.
Really?
Yeah, like as far as like actually being profitable.
And I think that's
it's
why
literally
it's so
just
different.
like a side project to them.
Yeah.
It's such a side. You got to realize, like, I don't think maybe you don't realize that Microsoft. I mean, Windows.
Yeah.
Windows is the premier platform.
Yeah.
They have tons of stuff like for organization.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's Microsoft
Every
is
company
huge.
probably uses Premium Excel. Like,
No, it's not even Premium Excel. I mean, their whole organization is structured around like Microsoft servers,
Yeah.
Microsoft infrastructure, Microsoft email, all the 365 stuff. I mean,
Office
Microsoft
365. I didn't even think about
Microsoft
that.
is a powerhouse in ways that you don't even realize. That Xbox is literally a blip on the radar to
Yeah.
them. They do not care.
But
I feel like they're flopping so hard. I can't imagine they would
Do you
continue
think they're
it.
losing money with it, or do you think they're breaking even?
I think they've always lost money with it.
Dude, have you seen how bad this generation for Xbox is performing?
Honestly, no.
I think it's. I read that. I think it's 70% of the purchases were the S and not the X.
And even then, in total sales,
The main one. They
Yeah,
made an
yeah,
S.
yeah.
It's like a tiny digital.
it's the $300
console.
one, and then the X is the $500 one. But even that, I mean, their sales is like a tenth of what the PS5 has sold.
And then
like,
you got
for
Switch.
both.
That's just.
Yeah, and that's
destroy.
what I was about to say. Like, I feel like Nintendo's just on their own path. I feel like
Yeah.
they have abandoned like the normal generation cycle. Starting with the Wii U, whenever the Wii U came out, like I think 2 or 3 years before the
I love the Wii
PS4
U.
and Xbox, to avoid having that direct comparison because they know it couldn't stack up as like hardware wise. So I feel like they've completely avoided that tradition. And then I'd be surprised if Xbox drops another console. I would be really shocked. But I feel like they're going to just stick with the series line. Maybe introduce something
Series
else in the
Z.
series. Yeah, maybe
Series
something
Y.
like that. I can
Gosh.
see them doing something like
That's
that.
like when we saw those videos of
Rather
Xbox
than-
720.
Yes.
Yeah, rather than like having a whole rollout for a brand new console, I don't
Yeah.
foresee Microsoft doing that. I'd be shocked. So I feel like Sony's kind of just like controlling the console market in that
Yeah.
regard, like the physical at home console market. You know,
Yeah.
Nintendo's almost like bridged into the handheld now, but Nintendo's their own thing.
Well,
So I would be surprised. I don't know.
to narrow it all down, I just think it's a mismanagement of resources, and I think it's appalling that they thought they could release a $700 console and get away with it without
Yeah, they get cocky.
catching flack. That
always
is-
get cocky.
As a Sony simp, as a PlayStation simp, they always do a great job, and they're like, "Oh, we the best! Like we can't do any wrong," and then they
Double the
do
price.
wrong.
Yeah.
They make the worst decision they can make.
But they
and
give you the
do this.
startup screen though. They gave you the PS1 skin.
And
I
dude,
made up for
like
it.
they consistently do this. Like,
But I think that gives credit to what you're saying about how they've monopolized the console market. They feel like they can do this because the competition really isn't there.
Yeah.
oh
Which
wait,
I don't
wait,
even
wait.
think they
What do you mean
monopolized
monopolize?
it
I was
too
gonna
much.
say,
Yeah.
we were talking about.
I think they're just the clear winner.
We were talking about how what the studios that Sony owns compared to Xbox owning Activision Blizzard and Bethesda
yeah,
now.
Microsoft owns like
That's true.
Microsoft's the one that
But I'm
has
talking strictly
tried
console.
to just throw since from the beginning has tried to just become a powerhouse solely with money.
The
That's fair.
freaking government tried to stop them from getting Activision Blizzard.
I
They're
get-
like, this
I get
bad.
what you're saying.
No, do not give this to them. It
Yeah,
went through.
I don't think they. I think they've by choice fairly kind of won because
Yeah.
even when you look at like I mean there's not really any big exclusives they bought out that have been purely exclusive. At the most they've been timed
The
exclusives.
Halo launch for the
timed
new one was awful.
exclusives. The timed exclusive thing I don't
That
like
was
too much,
awful.
but like I mean that doesn't bother me that much, especially when you compare it to like PS1 era when like a Final Fantasy VII, for example, wasn't coming to any other console.
I think it's great to see that now too, and see them
Yeah, I
embrace
love that it's a lot more like
Spider-Man 2
across
was
the
in
board,
January.
except for Nintendo. But
Again, Nintendo, it's this whole other ball game.
and Nintendo's just in its
I
own
think
field. They don't care.
Nintendo is so far into their own ball game, they don't have to worry about it anymore.
Yeah,
They
they just it's completely different.
Um,
Because I feel like nobody's gonna go PS5 or Switch.
It's always good. They're always gonna have a Switch.
I have both.
They're either
But
gonna
I
have
can
both
also
or just
say
a
I
Switch.
have both, and I haven't touched my Switch in over a year.
But you still bought it.
I bought it
That's
for
all that matters to Nintendo.
I bought it
Well,
for
that's-
Tears of the
And
Kingdom.
that's the thing about the profit too. Like I don't know Sony's margins on it. Every Xbox is sold at a loss. So like whatever price they sell you an Xbox at,
I
even full
think-
price, it costs them more money to manufacture, or at least it has historically. I don't know about the Series S and X, but historically it has. The Switch has always been profitable. Like even hardware alone has been profitable.
I think
for them.
Sony makes about $200 on every.
No, there's no way.
I
There's
think
absolutely no way.
I read it costs $400 to manufacture, and they also sell $100.
There's no, yeah, but you got to throw in every other fee. I mean, there's
Yeah,
a cajillion
let's see.
fees that come with it. They
How much
probably close to break
does
even. Their money isn't for hardware. Their money's
Sony
software. They want to get you in the ecosystem so that you buy software. That's how they make their money. So a majority of the time, they'll even sell the consoles at
Production
a
costs are
loss.
$450. It says here.
Yeah, so then when you combine all the,
Yeah.
think about it. So they give them to all the retailers, like GameStop, for example. They're going to sell it at $500. GameStop has to make money on that. So they're giving it to them for probably less than $450. So they're ultimately going to be losing money. Most of them do that. They lose money on the hardware so that they get you in the ecosystem and you buy games. That's how, and they recoup their money back on the games.
Well, yeah, because I pay $150 a year for PS Plus because I love
that too.
it.
Yeah, the subscription things too. I forget that even exists. That's crazy. Because I haven't been a console gamer since like they started.
The thing is, I don't
forcing
even
on
really,
all those,
I don't
like,
even
monthly
really
things.
play online on it. I just like the game library. I can play Sly Cooper, like the OG Sly Cooper on my
Yeah, they have
PlayStation, 'cause and you-
PS5 has like the
the
backwards
retro
compatibility
library.
as far as
That's-
like the older games like digital.
I just played the original Jack and Daxter like a year ago. Max, that was his first platinum. He replayed the first Jack and Daxter game,
Really?
and I was like, "You should platinum it." And I watched him play it the whole time.